everyone is probably keeping to a very busy schedule. So I appreciate everybody joining us, whether you're in person or you're watching the recording. Thank you for taking the time. This is our virtual information session for the Masters of Science in Nursing, the Nursing Administration program, aka MSN Nursing Administration is probably the shortest way to say it. So thank you very much. We really appreciate, again, you taking time out of your day to spend it with us. My name is Tom Kresh. I'm the Director of Graduate Admissions, and I'll be hosting this tonight. But we have Dr. Metzger here. Dr. Metzger is our program coordinator for the program. And Dr. Metzger, do you mind introducing yourself a little bit?
Sure. Hello to everyone. My name, as Tom said, my name is Dr. Lori Metzger. I am the program director for the graduate program specific to Masters of Science in Nursing for Nursing Administration. And that program also has an MBA option, if that's something that you would like to add on to. I have been at Bloomsburg for about 17 years. I've taught across undergrad and grad probably for about the last 8 years, and I'm now solely in the graduate Department of Nursing with this program and another program. But so I'm delighted to be here. I'm also a BU alum. I got my master's degree here at Bloomsburg before I went on for my PhD, and I've been a nurse. I don't know if I really want to admit this, but I've been a nurse for over 30 years. And I'm very happy to hold that title of nurse. And just, it's part of who I am now. It's part of my DNA. You can't take it out of me. So that's a little bit about me. And we're going to talk about the MSN program today.
Yes, absolutely. And just so everyone knows, the event should take around 30 or 40 minutes. This is being recorded, like I mentioned earlier. And if anybody has any questions, just let us know. We're happy to address them in live time. But go ahead, Dr. Metzger. I will turn the presentation over to you.
Okay, well, thank you so much. So this is a virtual information session, a place where you can turn to in your time. We have about 10 slides or so here today, just to share a little bit with you about the program. So that students who are interested in the program can just, tap into this. It'll be on our website, and you can watch it whenever you'd like to. But those of you who are with us here are live, and so we're glad that you're here. So we're starting out here. We've got a great picture of Carver Hall. If you know nothing about Bloomsburg University, Bloomsburg University is part of the state system in the state of Pennsylvania. And so we've just undergone an integration. We're still working on that. So Bloomsburg is actually joined with Mansfield and Lock Haven universities to be Commonwealth University. But physically, we still reside here as Bloomsburg University. That's why you see a B up there for Bloomsburg. And this is one of our most treasured buildings on campus. The very first building, I couldn't even say 200.
If you've ever seen a picture of Bloomsburg, likely this is what you've seen.
Yes, that's right. That's so true. That's so true. But it is a great old building and it has the copper dome. So anyway, enough about our architecture. But here we go. If it will work. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. So just about Bloomsburg, the question, that some people ask me, so why should I pick the Masters of Nursing Administration program? And that's a good question. I have nurses who go through their undergraduate program, and they are quite certain that someday they want to be a nurse leader. They want to be a nurse manager of a unit, a department, something like that, or they want to just be a nurse leader. That's who they are. They might have been in student leadership roles before, and they want to do that. I have other students who find themselves in leadership roles. And if I told you a little bit about myself, that's exactly what happened to me. And so I was a nurse straight out of nursing school and was working, and within a few years ended up in a leadership role just because I was blessed to have some people who believed in me, and I had a little bit of school of hard knocks, but so I ended up in leadership roles. And since that time, I've had several nursing leadership roles. So I think that the Masters of Nursing Administration program gives you an opportunity to explore those areas that nurses need to know about: finance, accounting, supply chain management, specific leadership courses, those kinds of things. So if you are thinking about becoming a nurse leader in some form or format, or you already know that about yourself, that's where you want to head, is a great program for you. And I really believe in this program because of the MBA option. We'll talk about that in a little while, but so that's why I would suggest the MSN Nursing Administration program for anyone.
Yeah, it's safe to say that basically this unlocks the management potential. This unlocks some of the career options that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. It's going to unlock those options. Without that's likely not possible. So this is a great investment in your future career.
Absolutely. And really, I think that the MBA, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but the MBA is really becoming, you're starting to see it show up on job descriptions, preferred, strongly preferred, requires an MBA. And you think, well, I went to school to become a nurse. Well, yes, you did, but you also entered into healthcare, which is a business. So the MBA can be extremely helpful for you for upward mobility if that's something that you're interested in too. So yeah, that's why our program. So, okay, let's keep going. So this is just a snapshot of our program. One of the great things about our program, and when I first started with this program, we were not 100% online, but over the last about 3 or 4 years, we are now 100% online. So that you don't have to come to campus. You're always welcome to campus. I tell my students, I'm sitting in my office right now, so I'm here from time to time, but you are 100% online. I've shared with Tom, as we've talked about graduate admissions and things like that. Some of my students, I really don't see them, in person until they graduate. So I get to see them online. I get to see their pictures. I get to see that kind of thing. But I really meet them in person for the first time when they show up to graduate. So we're 100% online. One of the things that's not on this slide that I just want to share with you also is that we do have many of our business courses that are in 6 or 7 weeks. So I really love that option because it allows you to more easily take 2 courses each semester. And that helps you. You're still part-time because many of you, I understand, may be working while you're doing this. And I've been there. I've worked full-time while going to school, did it for my master's, did it for my PhD. So, but you get to take 1 course at a time. So in other words, like the upcoming spring, I've been talking to my current students and they're like, well, I'm going to take these 2 courses. And I said, well, I think that's great because for the first 6 or 7 weeks, you focus solely on that 1 course, then you finish it. Now it's accelerated. I'm not going to say it's not because it is. You're doing a course in 6 or 7 weeks, but you just focus on that 1 course. Mid-semester, you then pick up another course. So you're still going to school and you're able to get 6 credits a semester just by going part-time. We, of course, have a full-time option, which you can do. But many of my students do work full-time. And so this is the thing that really kind of helps them. So the 2 program options. If you want to get your Master's of Science in Nursing Administration, that is 42 credits. And so you can do that. That gives you the master's degree. However, if you want to go on for the MBA option, there really is only 5 more classes that you need. So the difference between 42 and 57 is really only 5 classes. And what happens then is you graduate with an graduate with 2 master's degrees. You have an MSN in Nursing Administration and you have a Master's in Business Administration. So you have a dual degree that you're doing. I am convinced, and I have seen it in my students, this makes you highly marketable. And I think that's one of the best things on there. We have some other things up in the bullet points here, if you're able to see them. It concentrates on leadership in nursing and gives you that skill development in leadership and management. But it also allows you to move from the BSN to the MSN immediately. So if you are a BSN student and you're watching this online with us here, you really don't need to wait. With some other programs, which are great, nurse practitioner, nurse anesthetist, you need to do clinical time. You need to work in an ICU. You need some patient experience. And there's reasons for that because you're going to diagnose and treat and those kinds of things. But this is continual skill development. that's going to prepare you for a management degree. Now, I have some students that, might already have the management degree, but they want the next step. And so that's appropriate for them too. But you really, I've had a couple of students already that they have finished their BSN in May and they're on with me online starting in August. They just want to keep going as one.
Well, and there's advantages to that, right? Honestly, my experience has been, in Dr. Metzger, you could probably speak to this, is that once you stop taking classes, that can be difficult to kind of get going again and find the motivation to get back into working. So there are advantages to that, for sure. And I don't know if anyone in the audience has, completed their education, and is working, looking to come back. Well, that's probably a majority of the students that will go that route, but there are advantages to going right from the BSN right into the master's programs.
Tom, that is so true. I'm glad you say that because you know what? That's exactly what I did. I'm 30 plus years a nurse. Mm-hmm. So I went to a 3-year diploma school. That's how I got my RN.
Right.
But I made a promise to myself in my senior year, my last year, that I was not going to stop. And that's exactly what I did. I graduated in May with my RN, took my boards, got it. And in August, I was in a BSN program because I knew if I took a gap, I felt like maybe I wouldn't dive back in, or it would be too much of a shock to dive back in. And I did. That was a promise I made myself, and I did it. I did it that way. I took the gap between my BSN and my MSN. That was just my choice, but you're very right about that. So in getting the 2 master's degrees, you have 2 programs that are really top line programs. Nursing Administration is accredited with the kind of the epitome of accreditors for nursing education programs by CCNE. And the MBA program, the same way through AACSB. So you are diving into 2 programs that are fully accredited and have been here for a considerable amount of time to really develop the program to be the best that it can be right now. So we've done that. Okay, let's see. If we look a little bit more closely at the program, what is it really? So you start with 12 credits of core nursing. So all of our programs here at the master's level, all of our students take those. So this is kind of nice because you're in these 12 credits. There's 4 classes of 3 credits each. And they are not 6 weeks, they are 12 weeks. But that's just, to get you started. And you can take 1 at a time, 2 at a time, you can 3 at a time. That's up to you if you want to do full-time or part-time. And we run those year round. So we run those spring, summer, and fall. So you can really, we have a rolling admission. So you can really jump in wherever is best for you when you're ready to start. But you're in with nursing students who are going to go get their master's in family nurse practitioner, their master's in adult general nurse practitioner, nurse anesthetist students. So you're all together in these core classes. And the core classes talk about the advanced role of a nurse at a graduate level. They talk about, we have review epidemiology. We give you a solid foundation for research so that you can build your other classes on that. So these are the types of classes that we have in here. The last one, by the way, is community assessment. And I'm working with a student right now, and she just gave me a draft of her project, and she's running through this, and she said, I did a small community assessment in order to develop this program. And I was just like, look at that, all her core classes are paying off. So, but that's what you do first. And in the MSN for Nursing Administration, then I kind of hand you off, I'm still here, but I hand you off to business courses. Okay, so you kind of leave the College of Health Professions here where nursing is found, and you walk to the College of Business. And I have a lot of close ties over there, and I work with them very well. And so if you're just going to do your master's in nursing administration, it's about 6 classes, 18 credits. And this is where the 6 or 7 weeks, I can't remember exactly 6 or 7 weeks, but where you can fit 2 in a semester more easily. That's where that starts. So, that you could do, and they offer 2, spring, summer, fall. If you want to take the summer off, that's up to you. You certainly can do that. But if you don't want to and you want to keep going and that works for you, you can do that. If you're just going to do that part, you do those 6 classes, 18 credits, and then you would come and do the last 12 credits of practicum. I'll explain that in a minute. Now, if you want to go on for your MBA option, like I said, that's 5 more credits. So, and you don't have to decide, when you're admitted exactly what you want to do. We have a little bit of time here. You can do that, and we can do that. And if you know that you want to do both of them, the MSN and MBA, you don't have to do those 6 credits first and then the 5 credits for the MBA. You can take them interchangeably when they're offered. So there's 1 or 2 prerequisites that you have to take one before the other, but not much, really not much. So you finish all of those, and then you culminate that with actually 2 classes. So it's 12 credits, because this Nursing 513 and Nursing 533, these numbers that are on here, there's 6 credit classes. And you take those with me, I teach those. And so those 6 credit classes gives you a practicum to do. You have a number of hours to do a live project wherever you choose, as long as we have a contract. And I just did one this fall. I had a student, she said, I really want to go here. And I said, we don't have a contract. Let me see what I could do. And in the nick of time in August, we had it. And she continued, and she's doing a great job. She's got a great project going there. But you do a number of hours. That practicum gives you 180 hours in the fall, 180 hours in the spring. So you leave here with something that you can mention in an e-portfolio or however you want to demonstrate your resume, to say, look, I have over 300 hours of actual time with preceptors to learn these skills. This is not just from a book. This is not just from a course. I actually did live practicum. And, I'm kind of your coach and your guide through that whole thing for those last 2 courses. So, okay. Do we have any questions anywhere, Tom? I'll just keep on going.
No questions yet. No questions
yet.
Okay,
all right, great. Okay.
This is a good time that you have any questions answered, or if you're watching the recording, you can reach out to myself or Dr. Metzger. We have contact information at the end of the presentation too, if there's anything we can do to help. Okay,
yeah, I think the chat is open there for that. So just to let you know more specifically what you're doing for the courses for the MSN, and then if you're going to do the MBA, for the business courses, there are courses in accounting. So you do have to do an accounting class. And that's okay. My students do just fine. So you have some management classes. There's one on supply chain. There's one on human resources. There's one on decision-making skills. There's also an IT course, because we want to make sure that you are understanding the information technology, all of the data that we collect in healthcare, and what do we do with that? How can we use that kind of thing? If you go on for the MBA option, there's another finance course that builds on your accounting course. That's like one of those small prerequisites. You got to take accounting before finance. We want to make sure you have some information on marketing. And then we also have a great leadership course that is taught over in the business course. We have a strategic management course. And then we have a global business course that is in that area as well. So that's kind of the types of courses that you're taking. When you finish all of those, you return, and then you're going to put all of this information into use, into live practice with your practicum.
Yeah, and one of the nice parts about this degree program too is that it's already planned for you, right? So you could do the MSN with the MBA option, and you don't have to worry about figuring out, all right, well, what classes do I take to complete this requirement? Like, there's something to be said for having this already planned out for you. All you have to do is raise your hand and say, I want to do that. And we've got the plan. Like, here's your next, your 2-year plan to complete the degree. Here's all the courses. All you have to do is sign up and finish them,
And, that's a good point, because in some graduate studies too, what I've seen is you go through a number of courses, and then, professors will evaluate that and say, well, I really think you need this course, or I really think you need that course. And it's kind of like you get so far in the program, and then it's kind of like, well, somebody's saying, I think you should, they're adding something in. That's not what we have here. This is tried and true. Both of these programs are accredited, and this is what we do. Yep.
Yeah. Because you're trying to balance this with life, and you're balancing this with home responsibilities. Oh, and by the way, you're likely working at the same time, right? So yes. We will provide a lot of guaranteed procedures here to help you have some predictability with your academic and professional schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I advise my students. So a lot of times I'll email them and I'll say, okay, here's option 1 and here's option 2, how you want to work this out. My students just happened with a student. I did this a couple of weeks ago, and she came back, she goes, I picked option 2. And so that's what we did. That's what we scheduled, because that just worked with her life. So yeah, we have a degree of flexibility here. So in talking about this program, so we've explained this program and how it works and all those kinds of things. What can you do with it? What happens? So I have some students, like I said, they're already in a management position. So maybe they're a frontline manager, maybe they're in professional development or staff development, and they want to move on to be like a managerial type of position or whatever. Or maybe you're not. I have a couple of those too, because they're kind of looking for positions, seeing what's open. They want to have the education so that when they apply, they're meeting all those qualifications. So I have students that are in frontline. They might be in education. They might be in higher ed. I've had students, going on to become deans, and they get their MSN and their MBA. It sets them up very nicely. And so they're team leading somehow, and they want to make this, have the qualifications behind them in order to do that. So whether you're doing that, managing a unit or a department or something like that, or if you are an operations manager or whatever title you might have, and you want to go on to be an associate vice president, okay? So now you have this to make that next step. Maybe it doesn't have to be in the hospital either. You can be in a clinic, you can be in a nursing home, you can be in any level of healthcare, really. I have someone right now working on a practicum project, and she's knee deep in her practicum project doing health information. And I was just reading some of her feedback to me, and she's like, I had no idea. I really love this. She says, I really love the health information and the data. She says, I've never worked in this area. Like, this is really exciting. And so maybe that's where she'll end up. Maybe she'll end up as a manager of a QI department.
Well, and because you're learning some new disciplines too, like there's not only will this help complement your current career, but it might open up new avenues.
Absolutely.
As far as, oh, you know what? I didn't even know that was a thing. This subspecialty that's out there. Normally those subspecialties is where there's people and they always have such a high demand for people with those subspecialties, because it's hard to find people that have the appropriate education to meet that need. But again, it's going to identify some additional routes for you that you might not have thought of before you started the program.
Oh, I couldn't agree with that more. I think that, I tell whenever I've taught undergraduates, I always tell them, because it's the truth, it's the beauty of nursing. I can be a nurse in home health. I can be a nurse in school health. I can be a nurse in a hospital. I can be a nurse in a clinic. I can be a nurse in so many different directions. That doesn't stop with graduate education. It doesn't. There's just so many avenues. Healthcare is such a huge area. There's just almost no limit, really. So these are some of the things you can do, but really to try to encapsulate all of the options on a slide, or even 2 or 3 slides, I'm not sure we could.
And I'm sorry, Laura, just for quick clarification, and this is just for my own edification here, C-suite would be cabinet level roles. Is that what that stands for? Yeah,
there is. I have students who have gone on to C-suite, and by C-suite, we mean that your title is probably going to start with a C, meaning chief of something.
Oh, right,
So,
chief, right, yeah.
Chief Operating Officer, Chief Nursing Executive, Chief Nursing Officer, CEO. I have a graduate who is the CEO of PSNA. So, they go on to do these. So if you want to sit above those levels of operations manager, associate vice president, and work your way up to that C-suite where you're with a chief financial officer and a CEO and a COO and a CNO, all those kinds of things. A lot of times that's how organizations in healthcare are structuring themselves, right, so that there is a chief over information and a chief over finance and a chief over operations and a chief over. So if you want to strive to do that, sky's the limit.
That's where having the business discipline and the business courses is really
absolutely. What makes you very marketable, because you made a commitment to your nursing by doing the MSN, but by doing the MBA, you said, hey, look, I understand this whole other piece. I get it. You know, I've spent time studying this, and so I'm comfortable talking about a budget. Let's do that. You know, so yeah, I think it's really great. And I think we have some additional information here about really what does that do for you. So you know, with so many nurses out there now, you're quite strong as a profession, and I love that fact. That was not the case when I graduated. And so I love that we as a profession are 4.2 million strong. I love that, because now we start to have presence, and now we start to really show society what nurses can do. And for up and coming nurses, you know, the average age sitting right there of an RN in the United States is 52. They're getting ready to retire. So your outlook just got better because they're going to need you. They're going to need you. We need nurse practitioners. We need nurse managers. We need nurse leaders. We need nurses at the bedside. We need nurses who understand nurses at the bedside in order to lead them appropriately. So, and then, you know, there is pay. I think we're post-COVID, and if you're on listening to this whenever, and you're a nurse, I don't even need to explain that bullet point because I know you get it. So, but it's good for you is really what it is. Well,
and I think also when you look at, all right, so you're giving up free time to do this degree program, right? It's important to look at this from an investment perspective.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The ROI for a degree or the combined degree for this is going to be pretty big. I mean, this is going to easily more than pay for itself.
Yes. I think any nursing degree right now. Yeah,
exactly. You know, so this is you'd be hard pressed to find a better investment in your future career than this.
Yeah, and this is why I like the MSN with the MBA. This puts you in a place, you know, 3 people apply for the ops manager, or 3 people apply for the associate vice president, or whatever the role is. And you're sitting there and say, yes, I do have my master's in nursing and I have an MBA. You just moved to the top of the pile of those resumes. You did, because, you know, that's what I really love about the degree, the way it's arranged. So, yeah, I agree with everything you said, Tom. That's all true. Okay. So I just wanted to let you know, these are actually some of our alumni. Like I said, the CEO of the PSNA right now is one of our graduates, I'm very proud to say. So, but we have students who have gone on to be operations manager. They've been nursing house supervisors. And I've had a couple of people who have really branched out to be much more entrepreneurial, talking about starting their own consultant business because they've been a nurse, like I have, for a number of years, and other ones that have found other positions that work from, you know, their hometown. And their hometown, this position I'm talking about, the last one, hometown is not far from here, but got into this program and medical research network, really loves the job, loves the patient contact, loves the research. They loved the fact that she had her MBA. It's what gave her the position. And so she works for a national company from the comfort of her hometown, where, you know, as a single mom, her child did not have to change where she goes to school or anything like that. And so it's just really great. It's just, I think we have some great alumni doing some great things in roles for the benefit of the profession. So we just wanted to mention a few of them that are happening here. But, and I like to brag about my grads, so. Okay, so how do you do all this? And I'll mention some of these things and let Tom tell you too. We have an online program where you just, once you click onto online application, everything is going to go like that. You're just going to upload things. We do need your transcripts. You need to fill out an application. We need a copy of your license. We need your resume. We do want like a page, just one page on what are your career goals and why you're entering this program. And then we need 3 references, and we have a recommendation form. So you don't even have to start from scratch on that. If you use our recommendation form, you just give that to 3 people and have that all upload. And once that's all on there, you'll start to hear from me. And then I will set up a interview. And like I said, we're rolling admission. So like right now, I have a few people who are in my slot for November. I'm going to be interviewing them. They're going to start in January if all goes well and they accept and want to be here and that kind of thing, which I think they do. And so, yeah, we can go ahead and just move that forward. So I don't know, Tom, if you want to say anything else about this is your realm.
Yeah, the fun part, right? Yeah, so the application process is simple. And again, a lot of this are things you can be uploaded right, directly through the online application. Obviously, if you've got any questions about the application process, don't hesitate to contact me. I think our contact information is on the next slide. So, and Dr. Metzger, do you have any suggestions on, so we talk about typed career goals. Do you have any specific things that you're looking for? Any specific prompts? Should that be a page? Should it be 4 pages? Like, what are some of the parameters that you're looking for?
No, I really look for 1 page because I think it needs to be concise and succinct.
Right.
But I also don't think it should be 1 or 2 sentences.
Okay.
So I think if you have it in 2 or 3 paragraphs on 1 page, and you can just explain to us why you're pursuing this degree, what you're thinking, what your goals and aims are. And sometimes students will tell me, I'm not exactly sure what position I want, but I know I want to lead in this profession. I want to be a nurse leader. And tell me why, those kinds of things.
Yeah. And
so that demonstrates your commitment to it, and really what you're thinking about, that kind of thing. And I've had it, like I said, I've had a couple of people who came to me as undergraduates and said, I know I want to do this. I know I want to be a nurse leader. And so they're out there, they're working full time, they're learning, they're putting themselves on committees, they're doing extra work because they want to understand their departments and those kinds of things. And I'm telling you, they do some incredible things. And I have a couple of emergency room nurses. Oh my goodness, they are go-getters. So they come on. And so this is what, a lot of times their page reflected. That's what I need, a page, like I said, 2 or 3 paragraphs that really encapsulate why you want to do this program and what draws you to this program, what you might think about doing with it.
Yep, great.
So the application process, I think, is pretty straightforward, easy to gather some things. And like I said, it's online, so you just upload these kinds of things.
Yeah, and our application is at bloomu.edu/grad school. You can find a very quick link to it there. Again, the online app itself shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. It's very basic because a lot of the information
that
Dr. Metzger is going to need to know are things indicated by some of the additional things you'll follow up with.
Yeah, well, that's what the interview is for, because everybody does have an interview. This allows me to actually have a dialogue with you and to get to know you. And so, because it's not just on paper. And you may have other things you want to expand on and tell me, or you might have additional questions, which is great. And I'll be happy to answer those kinds of things. We go through that interview process. Mm-hmm. And again, that's all done online. And then you'll be good to go. So I think the last line we have here is contact information. So in order to find Tom or I, your information is right there. Our location is Bloomsburg University. We are part of Commonwealth University. So if you see that on the website, you're in the right place. It's just that we're housed here in Bloomsburg University as a physical location, but we would love to hear from you. Yeah. And I'm always excited to continue to work with graduate students and get you to the place where you want to be. I always consider part of my job as a cheerleader, and I'm happy to cheer you on. So yeah, I love to see what my grads can do.
It's safe to say that, the next generation of nursing leaders, healthcare leaders are passing through your courses. So that's got to be pretty exciting. You're going to have, a lot of graduates that are on the cutting edge of doing some really important things and impactful things for the community.
It is exciting for me. I mean, I know that sounds a little cliche, but I can't tell you. I get excited in journal entries. Okay, so I was just doing some of those this afternoon. And I have exclamation points everywhere and ideas about things like that. But I really love to see you, grab the brass ring, which you may not understand what that means, but
Yeah.
I'm showing my age there. But really, I mean, there's really just no limit. I mean, that's a true statement of what you can do. And it's, boy, if healthcare ever needed nurses in every capacity, the time is now. The time is absolutely now.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's exciting to see what you can do.
Yep. Absolutely. So thank you, everybody. We really appreciate everybody joining us today. And again, if you've got any questions for Dr. Metzger or myself, we are happy to help. You can see our contact information up on the screen. We work for you throughout the course of this process, and we're happy to do so. So if there's anything we can do to help you along the way, don't hesitate to reach out. And we look forward to hearing from everybody in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.